Session, I would like to thank our cloud communication partner Root Mobile, session partner IAB Tech Lab in partnership with PubMatic, gold partner Logics of Digital, session partner Agreya, bronze partner Bobble AI, knowledge partner Kantar. The next session for today is a case study on Jiva Ayurveda, an audience first approach to storytelling. Joining us for the session, we have Ms. Mallicka Singh, Associate Director, Brand Strategy, Liquid Asia. I would request all the delegates to kindly post their questions on Q&A tab. Without further ado, I would request Mallicka to please take over the mic and start the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you, Ritika, for introducing me. Thank you, Emma, for giving this opportunity. Uh, Thank you all to join in. I hope I add some value to your time today. So today's session, one second, let me just go and present my case study and I'll explain a little bit about why I chose this. So maybe just 60 days into the next year, we wanted to just summarize. Can you guys see my screen? So I just wanted to summarize the year which has gone by. So 2020 has been a year of imbalances in the environment, imbalances in the body, imbalances in the mind and soul. And this has led to a lot of younger audiences believe in Ayurveda focused practices and therapies to reclaim this balance. And today's story is about a brand called Jiva Ayurveda. So Jiva Ayurveda is about a 30-year-old brand. It is started by a very eminent personality, Dr. Pratap Chauhan. You can search him up on the internet. Dr. Pratap Chauhan is a well-known, world-famous Ayurvedacharya. He is, been accredited by UN for his selfless propagation of Ayurveda around the world. With his mission, with his vision of Ayurveda to every home, Jiva Ayurveda today has 80 plus clinics around the world, around India. They are into 150 plus wellness products. Surprisingly, they do about 8,000 plus telephonic and video consultation per day. And also another property that they are into is the Jiva Gram, which is based out of Delhi. It is into it's a wellness retreat basically, and it's a holistic wellness center. So quite a diverse ecosystem Jiva's got. But they came to us in 2019 and they were grappling with a problem of what to communicate, how to communicate to the social audiences, where they have a very strong business leadership, but the same is not kind of reciprocated in their social media channels. They are very well known in the TV sphere. Our parents definitely would have seen Dr. Pratap Chauhan in some TV show or the other talking about health, talking about Ayurveda. But how do they really connect on social with people? And surprisingly, Jiva Ayurveda is one of the very few brands which talks about scientifically proven Ayurveda. So it has a research lab which develops, all the findings which are taken care of, but they've never really spoken about this in any of the social platforms. And other than just this problem, we also kind of saw that how the communication strategy across their social channels is not personalized. They're not talking about any personalized storytelling at all, and though they're very famous in the larger audience, they've been not been able to build that affinity when it comes to the younger audience. So when interestingly, we kind of ask them this question, like the way we ask all our brands, that who is your competition? And they said everybody who's into Ayurveda is my competition, whether it is the big players or somebody like a smaller doctor who's opened a Ayurvedic clinic out of his house is also my competition. So this gave us actually the opportunity to think a little beyond. Why don't we make them realize that they need to find that niche, that sphere of a untapped market, where we saw Dabur and Vednath and Patanjalis of the world, talking to a whole mass and undifferentiated audiences. And on the other hand, there are these luxury brands like Forest Essentials and Kama, which are very concentrated to personal high-end beauty products, where hence we thought that why don't Jiva Ayurveda talks to a intersection of Ayurveda, millennials, and their their gist for the desire for knowledge and science based solution. So, firstly, we started with a broader understanding of the whole Ayurveda audiences. So, Ayurveda audiences is divided into three parts according to Jiva Ayurveda, which is the lowest one would be from 13 to 20. He's an undergraduate. He's his reasons to believe into Ayurveda is because of his parents pushing him towards becoming healthier and pushing him for a healthier habit, because it's these habits that he's forming right now are dependent on his life tomorrow. Second audience is about 25 to 40 working millennials like us, married couples who are have increasingly believed in going back to their roots, taking pride in their traditions. The problems that you're looking for in Ayurvedic solution would be to start a family, to manage stress, the overall mental stress in the year gone by. And the third audience was like somebody who's genuinely looking for a problem solution, like somebody who's going through diabetes, arthritis, digestive, etc. kind of a problem. But overall, the whole motivators of all these three audiences were similar. They wanted a healthier life. They wanted a holistic well-being. They were looking for a root cause. Just popping a pill and becoming okay is not something that they were looking for. They were looking for eradicating their problems from the root. A solution which is scientifically based. It's not herbal. It's not something just limited to Ayurveda is not limited to just your kitchen. It's much pure. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of science which goes into it. And obviously the whole year COVID has actually made us realize the importance of health and how preventive versus corrective has been the kind of conversation. But interestingly, we thought that why don't we just focus on the lower two audiences for having a much sharper digital communications. Let's understand these audiences better. Let's understand the behaviors of these audiences better to come up with a more crisper communication strategy which we can take forward. So, just dissecting our audiences and their mindset for us to know them better. And a lot of research that we went through, a lot of data that we kind of saw, whether it was secondary research, whether it was primary research. We spoke to a lot of audiences ourselves. We saw that this audience is, more and more getting connected with local for vocal sort of a preposition. Made in India has been their mantra. They're very conscious. They're believing in environmental sustainable choices. They are going in for the brands which are are very transparent in what kind of raw materials they're putting into their things. Organic has been the talk of the conversation. At the same time, they're very health focused in their approach. Where we've all seen Ayurveda as one of the one of the leading topics of conversations in 2020 and 2021, whether it is Giloy, whether it is ashwagandha as an immunity boosting drug. So the efficacy of it is well established. But how do I know what is right for me? Who is the right partner for me? Because there are multiple brands. They always, but this audience is obviously perpetually pivoting. Like there's just adventurous. They indecisive just because they're experimental. They want to know. They want to see that what is there in the market. Every day there's a new product. There's a new way, the new way of consumption. So how do we really carve that kind of a niche for him? So the approach that we took was a 7-step approach. That how does my consumer think? What is the consumer pathway, and where can we connect with my consumer at every step of his journey? Whether it is awareness about Ayurveda, awareness about Jiva Ayurveda, awareness about who are we, what sort of a science which goes into developing the treatment that we have. We are very personalized treatment. You know how Ayurveda is all about one sort of fix might not work for another fix. If I have a digestive problem and you have a digestive problem, the same solution is not for both of us. So how do we make a person aware of, the right way of going about it, is something we started with. Once he was hooked onto it, he had that involvement with me. He understood why we do why we do what. We started conducting these webinars with our acharyas, where every week we picked up a common topic. We picked up a topic, something like whether it was digestive, skincare, common lifestyle topics. And the format of their webinar was very crisp, where the doctors would enable you with the right information, how to go about it, how to identify that what basically is the core problem and what is the solution. So once this person is involved with me, then he would do an active consideration. He would start finding me up online. He would try to reach out to me for consultation. He will book an appointment with me. He'll do a walkthrough. He will do a video consultation. And once this results into a purchase, then definitely there's going to be a review and a testimonial, where we use that to influence the bigger audiences. And the sixth step into my social journey is a relationship building. He's my loyal fan. He's friend of mine, and he's somebody that is again and again coming back to me, asking questions to improve his health, because he's seen the efficacy of it. He's been a product of how it worked for him, and hence he becomes an advocate. He is the one who's sharing a positive share of voice with his larger audience. So, very interestingly, how we defined our digital behaviors, we ask ourselves certain questions, and based on these questions, we started formatting, our content. So, the first digital behavior of this millennials and the audience is build inclusively. So, we asked this question: is there a topic or issue that we could uniquely advocate or champion a solution for? Came the answer for these webinars. Week on week, we took up kind of concentrated on a particular health problem, and we started designing the communication for it. The second was, how do we really sell the information? Can we design experiences that speak for themselves, which are key motivations? So I'll just quickly play this 30-second or 22 minutes video, where we have Dr. Pratap Chauhan doing a walkthrough of Jiva Gram and telling people that how from the herb garden to different therapies in Jiva Gram, they sell a whole holistic package. So this is
प्रकृति यानी नेचर में लाखों पेड़ पौधे, फूल पत्तियां और जड़ी बूटियां मौजूद हैं। हर किसी पौधे में, हर किसी फूल पत्ती में, जड़ी बूटी में कुछ ना कुछ औषधीय गुण है। जीवा ग्राम में हमने अनेक प्रकार के ऐसे पौधे लगाए हैं, अनेक प्रकार की जड़ी बूटियां लगाई हैं, जो कि हमारे शरीर को स्वस्थ करती हैं। जीवा ग्राम में हमने एक सात्विक माहौल बनाया है आपके लिए। जब आप यहाँ आते हैं, जब यहाँ भ्रमण करते हैं, जब आप यहाँ थोड़ा घूमते हैं, तो आपका परिचय जो है जड़ी बूटियों से होता है, पेड़ पौधों से होता है। हमारे यहाँ पर नवग्रह वन हमने बनाया है, नक्षत्र वन बनाया है। तो आइए जीवा ग्राम के इस सात्विक हर्बल गार्डन से कुछ जड़ी बूटियां चुनते हैं, कुछ ऐसी औषधियां चुनते हैं जिनकी कुछ रेसिपीज हम बनाएंगे और उनका क्या लाभ है ये भी जान।
the third question we saw, the point that we wanted to make was create edutainment. The question that we asked, how could we turn our ideas into something truly useful for our audiences? So, we realize that if we put a lot of gyan to this millennial and these Gen Zs who think they know all themselves only, they will not be interested in your content. But if you give them very snackable, short content, which they kind of make their a practice of their life, everyday life, they'll definitely be hooked onto you, and they will come back and they'll return for more information. So we created this short video. where the benefit of Rag Madhubani in your daily life, this is a time where people were generally talking about mental health being a big problem. Yes. So the fourth aspect of a digital behavior that we kind of concentrated was you have to speak to this audiences in their languages. If you start, so Ayurveda is a very difficult, genre to understand. So how do we really break down these vata, pitta, these kind of words into everyday conversation and make people understand in a much simpler way? How can we naturally, make it a part of your tone is something we came up with this comic strip, like how we created two characters and all these characters are kind of talking to each other, where they explain it in a very conversational way that what this particular topic means about it. So let's talk Ayurveda was the bucket that we were talking. So another thing was that we got a lot of these comments and got a lot of these inboxes, conversations where people were seeking certain problems. So what we did was we analyzed this internally. We saw that a particular feedback is incorporated into our content series, whether it is with people seeking Ayurveda as a solution for a healthier skin, whether they are looking for benefits of a particular product. So smaller videos, very small, but user generated content was used to create these videos. And now brings us to the results slide. All of this has to be for some result-driven conversation. So the purpose was to capture the top of the mind recall, drive action. The objective was to create awareness, disseminate information, and changing attitudes and obviously changing behavior. I want more and more people to believe in Ayurveda. So yes, the results are in front of you. We were 40x times in terms of our reach and impressions. In fact, in Insta, follower rate was 100% from where we had started, and organic searches went up. Engagement, conversation, positive mentions were 30x times. A consultation, walk-ins, and e-commerce sales were also highly increased. So thank you guys. Now you let me know if there are any questions. You can post your question. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Ritika, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mallicka. Thank you for being a part of this event and giving us such an insightful session. So thank you so much, and thank you to all the audience for being a part of this session. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.